Alright, hello. I'm creating a multiplayer game that can be experienced through different perspectives. Right now, I'm building the FPS style interaction layer. So, as you can see, a number of things have changed with FriendBud. FriendBud now has 5 animations: idle, walk, run, and 2 attacks. He will randomly choose one of those 5. If he's walking or running, he will move in a direction. But yeah, FriendBud's animations are kind of broken. Right now, his run is more of a dance that breaks his legs. What does that mean? We finally have some basic FriendBud AI. On top of that, FriendBud has health. Every time FriendBud is hit by an arrow, his health will drop. If it drops to 0, he will die. When he dies, we have this nice purple particle effect, and he despawns. I'm focused on core gameplay mechanics at the moment, but just having FriendBud vanish doesn't provide enough feedback. When I'm looking at what happens when FriendBud dies, if there's no intentional visual effect, it looks almost like dying is a bug. So we've got that strong visual indicator that the player has done something and the world has reacted. So that's really cool. The player can now affect the world. I'm not really counting shooting arrows that will vanish as affecting the world. For the first time, the world actually feels like a game. While working through this update, I ran into some performance issues related to particle effects. Seeing as how these are most likely temporary visual cues, the simple answer was to make the effects simpler. That worked. I also uncovered a very strange bug where multiple player instances could spawn at the same time. The fix for that was a bit complicated. In Godot, you can use signals to send information between classes. I also previously separated out terrain generation into separate background threads. As a result, a lot of the behavior in terms of order things happens becomes unpredictable. To me. Maybe you can predict it if you're like Einstein for computers. But as a result of that, you have to be very careful when it comes to controlling what can happen when. So there are some locks and booleans involved to make sure things only happen once. But also, the way I do terrain generation, I'm only generating nearby terrain. That causes an issue if the player hasn't spawned. The player being spawned might not happen before some of the terrain is spawned. So what gets added when, what gets unloaded, again, I don't know. That's just how threading works. We get unpredictable timing. So I had to decouple player generation from initial spawning. Basically set a temporary location at world origin if the player hasn't spawned, and do not remove any terrain or allow duplications of terrain to spawn. Lots of checking needed to be added. But yeah, the result is pretty cool. I had one viewer tell me they would like to see the player be able to put on a hat or focus on single player, the single player experience. So here's some emphasis on the single player experience. I had another viewer tell me they would like me to talk about my inspiration. What is the cause of the vision I have for this game? Besides those two viewers, I would like to improve the AI. FriendBud cannot tell where the player is. Even if FriendBud could tell where the player is, he can't change his behavior based on that information. And his pathfinding is non-existent. Once I have better AI, we can have FriendBud actually damage the player, making this less of a target practice game and more of a challenge. A small challenge, but a challenge. There's also multiplayer synchronization and online play. I still want to work on that. There's also improved terrain and the issue with not having a true sky. There are a few bugs, but I doubt anyone would get excited over bug fixing. I have a bug right now, looks like. Yeah. Maybe you would like me to see me fix objects falling through the world floor, or get FriendBud to stop breaking his legs. Also, that bug where everything randomly vanishes and the screen goes blank still exists. Yeah, just restarted the game there. Besides that, I could work on adding more NPCs to the game, which could unlock a lot of interesting things. I could also work on adding in a different perspective, buildings, or objectives. Those are some of the ideas that have been rolling around in my head. Let me know down in the comments section what you would most like to see. Also, subscribe if this is at all interesting to you. And finally, I'm thinking about opening this up for closed alpha testing. I would likely have to spend some time figuring out how to set that up with Steam. Let me know if that's something you would want to see. All right. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.